Hey there! Welcome to the Flute 360 podcast. I'm Dr. Heidi Kay Begay, and I'm a flutist, educator, coach, and podcaster. My God-given mission is to serve you. I am passionate about guiding you, the modern-day flutist, to discover your unique voice on and off the stage. The goal of this podcast is to help you thrive, both as an artist and as a musicpreneur. Go ahead and grab some espresso, your favorite notepad, and let's get to it. Today's episode 282 is titled Flute Fusion, Blending Creativity and Business for Success. Hey, Flute 360er. Thank you so much for being here. Before we dive into today's content, I want to bring your attention to an upcoming event. This Saturday, April 20th, 2024, from 11 a.m. Central Time to 1 p.m. Central Time, we are hosting another Flute 360 Accelerator Program session. And within this 2-hour time frame, we not only have a masterclass where you can better your artistry and your musicianship, but we also have a mastermind. This is for your music business, your career endeavors, school questions, and the like. So every month I try to mix it up. And for this month, I have 2 amazing experts coming in and talking about how you can memorize your music effectively for your next audition, recital, competition, etc. So huge shout out to Liz and Steven, who are the 2 experts who are going to be talking about how they memorize music on a daily, weekly basis. So if this is something that you have been wanting to get better in your own playing, this is the time to join our accelerator group. So it's a subscription, but you can cancel at any time. And I just want to let you know, there are a limited amount of seats that are available. So once those seats have been filled, I have to close registration. So go ahead and click the link in the show notes below, and we would love to see you this Saturday, April 20th, for our mastermind and masterclass session. Okay, so now on to the good stuff. I have been asked this question so many times, and I cannot wait to dive into this topic of getting your music business off the ground. So, quote, this is what I hear from flutists just like you. I have so many ideas for my music business, but I have no idea where to start. Please help. I get it, especially with you being a creative artist and all of us being creative artists. We have all the ideas, right? Projects, concert tours, subscriptions, remote classes, summer music camps, etc., etc. It's a lot, and your head is spinning with all of these wonderful ideas, but you probably are feeling stuck. You have these ideas, they're in your journal, they're on paper, but no action is being made. And I have a lot of ideas as to why this is. Now, I'm not going to pretend for a second that I have a crystal ball, but I have a few hunches as to why perhaps you are getting stuck. Maybe you are getting stuck in this realm because it's kind of like an overanalysis paralysis, where you are thinking of all the details, where, when, who, how, etc., and nothing gets put into action because you are overwhelmed. That could be a possibility. Another possibility of why you're feeling stuck in this rut is because maybe you want all the answers up front. That rhymed a little too well. I was not planning that. I promise this is all coming off of an outline. But here we are. We're rhyming through Flute 360. Maybe you are in a rut because you are literally wanting all the answers up front. And guess what? That's not possible. We can have hunches, we can have guesses, we can have estimates as to what's going to happen with this project or that project. And we want all the answers up front of how it's going to go down, how it's going to unfold, but you won't know until you are in the weeds with said project. There is beauty in not knowing. There is beauty with not having all the answers up front. And I know that's scary, and I know that can be intimidating, but trust me on this, and I'm going to give you a few examples here in a second. So no matter why you are in this rut, you're in this rut, and you have all of these fantastic ideas for your music business and creating opportunities for yourself, but you don't know where to start. What I want to offer you today is a Venn diagram. This is something that I did not make up. I found through an actual conversation through Twitter, believe it or not. And I researched it, and sure enough, I found it through Google, and it's this Japanese Venn diagram. Now imagine there are 4 circles, and each circle represents something different. The first circle represents your passion. What are you passionate about? What gets you up in the morning? Write those things down. Circle number 2 is, what are you good at? And if you have a hard time answering this question, then you may need to pull in some of your family members and friends who love you to answer and to help you answer this question if you're having a rough time answering this about yourself. The third circle represents what's the void in the market. What do you wish as a consumer was there available to you, whether through a product, service, or offering? And the fourth circle represents what you get paid to do. Now, my disclaimer going through this Venn diagram is this is just a starting place. This does not have all the answers, but it really, truly can give you some insight as to what project or what offering to put out into the world if you are feeling stuck. Give it a try. This exercise only takes about 10 to 20 minutes to complete. And this is your first to-do item under this umbrella. And what I tell my Flute 360 clients and students all the time is that by you taking this action step, or any action step for that matter, it will ultimately lead to clarity. But be patient with the process, okay? Action leads to clarity. Now, here's a good example of how action steps can offer clarity to you in a particular season or within a certain project. So as you know, these past 3-4+ months, I've been going through a lot of healing with my scapula and neck. We've been working on stabilizing it and strengthening that area. Now, what I've been learning with Dr. Bo, shout out to the man in and through Kinetic Center. He has locations in Dallas and Plano, so check him out definitely if you need some chiropractic work done. But what I've been learning with Dr. Bo is that there's a balance, right, between stability and strengthening during your rehab season. So case in point, in the very beginning stages, we were doing fascia blasts and massages to help that specific area of my body. Well, we didn't know this, but a few months into rehab, we realized that having a massage soon after the fascia blasts, it was too much havoc on my body. So we eliminated the massage and just focused on the fascia blasts for a while, and then started adding in weights for strength training. So I bring this up because at first we took action for massage and the fascia blasts, but soon realized and soon observed and gathered new information that the massage was not helping my stability of the neck. So we eliminated the massage altogether. Why do I bring this up? I bring this up because we would not have received or gathered that information if we didn't take action. By taking action, some things, some systems, some procedures worked and some did not. But we would have never known that information until we tried. Okay? We didn't know. Now we do know. And with that new information, now we can reassess, we can recalibrate and move forward towards our goal. So I say this because you have to start from somewhere. You have to take action. You need to observe and notice, and then recalibrate if needed. So you better believe it. It was extremely messy at first. We didn't know why these extra flare-ups were happening, but the more we communicated, the more we listened, the more we noticed things that were happening, not happening with my body, we gathered information and then we reassessed and moved forward. But we would never have had that information if we didn't start from somewhere. So that's my encouragement from me to you. We didn't have all the answers up front right away, but that's okay. That information takes time to gather through trial and error. Okay, now on to a very specific music business example that I want to give you. I don't know if you remember this, but in the early stages of Flute 360, about a year, 2 years in, I put together Flute 360's very first remote course, and it was all about podcasting. I labeled it the Podcasting Musician, and I recorded it actually during the pandemic, the very first few months of March, April of 2020. I was stoked. I loved putting together this project with my husband, and I had a lot of fun. But guess what? A few people bought. A handful of people bought. Thank you to those who purchased that remote class. But guess what? It didn't have much legs. It didn't go very far. Why? Because there was really not a market for it. The more I realized and the more I did market research, what I found out was musicians tend to really not want to start up their own podcast. And that's okay. You guys love to play through your instruments, and more power to you. So the class flopped, or at least I thought it did. And actually, as time went on, it really didn't fail. I had to wait to see how it was going to grow organically into the next thing. Or maybe I just had to cut it off altogether. But it actually unfolded into a new business venture with my husband. We realized we had more podcasting products, services, and offerings under our belt, and we needed to really beef up a whole different business to encompass and to hold all of these podcast offerings for not just only musicians, but for all creative artists and for all entrepreneurs. Let's start up Red House Productions, and that's my sister company. So that small little, and I don't think it's little, but that small little remote podcasting musician course evolved eventually over the last 2, 3, 4 years into its own bona fide business. Now, did I have a crystal ball? Did I know that that's how it was going to unfold? Heck no, I had no idea. I was just recording a class during the pandemic. But I took action. And from that action, I started somewhere. And then it evolved. I observed and I noticed what was working, what wasn't working. And from that research, we recalibrated. Okay, so I want the same to happen for you and for your projects. I had no idea that that one remote class was going to evolve into an entire business. I would not have known that information from up front in March, April of 2020. I had no idea. But because I started somewhere and I took that action, new facts, new information was presented to me, and then I could move forward with that gathered information. But the point is, you have to take that first step, which is action. And action will always lead to clarity. I promise you. And whenever I get stuck in my businesses, I always go to my husband for guidance and for encouragement. And he always reminds me, keep swinging the bat, Heidi. keep swinging, keep swinging, keep swinging. And one day you'll hit it out of the ballpark. That's my encouragement from me to you. Don't be afraid of the unknown. You don't have to have all your ducks in a row before you can take action. Some of the best projects and some of the best business offerings that I have offered to my people through JK Productions, Red House Productions, Flute 360, and The Pivoting Musician have been messy action steps where I didn't have the answers up front, where I led with my heart, where I was listening to God's voice and stepping out into the unknown and saying, okay, I'm here. Now what? Just you showing up is a really healthy first step. I promise you. Then start swinging that bat and start making it your objective to hit that ball out of the ballpark for your home run. Maybe you hit it out of the park on the first swing. Maybe it's the 50th swing. Maybe it's the 100th swing. You don't know until you try. So be okay with the unknown. And I want you to start with the things that you are passionate about, the things that you're good at, the void in the market, and what you can get paid to do. I hope that this content has served you well, and I cannot wait to hear how your music business endeavors and offerings unfold for you and for your people. And as you are putting together a list of the things that you're passionate about, the things that you're good at, etc., no idea is too crazy. Seriously. I just did a remote presentation through a flute studio at a Texas university this past week. And one of the young students had asked, what hasn't been done? What can I do? What can I get my hands on? And it's like the possibilities are endless. And I should have asked her, like, what are you excited about? What are you good at? I didn't. I just gave an example. And boy, oh boy, did I get lucky. Well, it really was divine intervention, but I got lucky. I said, you know what, Sarah? Do you love to crochet? What if you were the flutist that everybody knew in the community as being an excellent teacher and performer who crochets beautiful flute items, like crocheting a flute slipcover or a flute bag, or crocheting a beautiful sweater for the next flute recital? And you get to display these items through your Instagram account. And anytime somebody is thinking about an artistic, creative person to hire for their flute recital, flute program, or an actual creative artist putting together a crocheted item, they can think of you, Sarah, because you are now one of a kind. You are standing out with your unique skill set. And she was floored. I kid you not, you should have seen her face. She was like, you told them. She was talking to her friends in the room and she goes, you told her that I love to crochet. And everyone's like, no, we didn't tell her. I just happened to put that arrow right on the bullseye. She ended up loving crocheting. She was just like, oh my gosh, that's an amazing idea. Those are my two passions fused together. How cool is that? I can get paid to do something like that? I'm like, heck yes, you can. Isn't that cool? Really, truly, the sky is the limit. So go ahead and go back to the Venn diagram example that I gave at the beginning of the episode and go through that exercise. I promise you it will only take you 10-20 minutes, and tell me your thoughts. Tell me what you discovered. DM me through Facebook or Instagram. I would love to know. Or you can go to my website at HeidiKaybegay.com or email me at HeidiKaybegay@gmail.com. And I promise I will respond to your email or DM. I love hearing from you. I love seeing your insights. And as you go through this activity, send me a message. Let me know the observations and insights that you make while going through this Venn diagram exercise. And friendly reminder, again, we would love to see you at the Flute 360 Accelerator Program on April 20th. And it's going to be a great time where we discuss your career goals, your artistic goals, And we're going to learn all about memorization skills from 2 experts in our field. So go ahead, click the link below, and I can't wait to see you. And until next time. Thank you for listening to the Flute 360 podcast. Please subscribe, rate, and review through your favorite podcast app, such as Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, among others. Thanks. Let's talk about Flute.